Good vibes, family. Good vibes. Who are the angels here on earth? I go by the name Pushy Push. Definitely drop a like and subscribe right here to my channel if you're interested in content that will definitely challenge the mind and is very thought provoking. So consider dropping a like if this interests you. But let's jump into this one, family. A lot of the study that I've done has required me to have an open mind, an open mindset to see things that are not necessarily how we are told and to challenge that, even though the things we are told comes from a higher authority. So like those with high degrees, my work tends to challenge those people right there. So sometimes I feel like they'll give a tiny piece of information and not really give it all out. So I do question, our leaders and how information is given. So when I go to do my study, because information is limited, I'm forced to have an open mind about the things that can possibly be hidden and true. So a great example of this right here is the UN piece right here, the piece in the middle. It shows the UN with the ice wall all around, our seven continents. And then it shows land that is all on the outside. So this right here is something that causes me to think that there's more land beyond, you know, and this right here is what makes you have to be open-minded. You know, when you look to the left, the possibility of there being more lands out there requires definitely an open-mindedness because your leaders aren't going to just blatantly reveal this to you right here. So I have to have an open mind that there are more lands beyond what we are allowed to go. And if you look at the dots in the UN, literally our own countries prevent you from exploring and answering that question, is there more beyond? When I look at the picture to the right, the Agartha, I ask the question, is that secluded to our area, or is the Agartha the whole size of this whole flat world that we're under? There is a certain level of open-mindedness again. But the thing that I'm looking at, could anything from the outside come in and invade where we are? So the UN circle right there, could anything from the outside come and invade where we are, to where our governments would be subject to it and basically lock us in to where we're now quarantined? I got some of this idea reading a piece of Benjamin Franklin's writings. So I'm going to look at that right there because it was very interesting. It made me feel like something is from the outside and it has taken over, and it seems to be claiming and complaining at the same time, about its numbers in the world and possibly even mingling with those who are already in the environment. So I'm going to read that right there. It says, observation concerning the increase of mankind, 1751. So this was a bigger read right here. I wasn't going to read the whole thing. I was going to just read the final remarks because they stood out the most. But I do encourage you to go back and read this because Benjamin Franklin is very interesting. He's on our $100 bill. And, you know, his writings don't make me feel like he's the nicest person, but history is history, and you got to still know the ones who are being called your forefathers. So it said right here, which leads me to add one remark. He says that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. It says all of Africa is black or tawny, so dark skin. Asia, chiefly tawny, dark skin. America, exclusive of the newcomers, woefully so, dark skin. It says, and in Europe, the Spaniard, Italian, French, Russian, Swede are generally what we call swarthy complexion, so a colored person. It says, as are the Germans also. So the Germans are dark complexion or of a color complexion. He says, the Saxons only accept it. The Saxons only accept it. Who with the English makes the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. That bothered me in so many ways, but I believe that I understood it. Um, the Saxons, I've seen pictures where, you have a black version or a white version or a lighter version of a Saxon. So I've seen them in different manners. The same thing with a Caucasian. I've seen pictures where there are dark Caucasians as well as light Caucasians. So when it says the Saxon accepted, it made me feel like they are light and this English only accepts them when it's looking at everything around them. Again, it makes me feel like someone is from the outside. It says, the Saxon only, who with the English makes the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. So that definitely made me wonder right there, what did he exactly mean? But I go further. It said, I wish their numbers were increased. And while we are, as I may call it, scouring our planet by clearing America of woods and so making the side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of the inhabitants in Mars or Venus, why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? See, that made me feel like something is not naturally from here. Like I was looking at that, like he's talking about inhabitants in Mars and Venus. And I'm thinking, well, Benjamin Franklin is, in my mind, is probably writing this with a lantern next to him. And yet he's talking about the inhabitants of Mars and Venus. Now, this person is on a $100 bill. So I don't know if he's crazy. It just depends on what knowledge you have and what you think that he knows opposed to what we know today. Like, does he know about there being more land, beyond where we are? But going back up to the top, the Englishman really stood out to me because it said the Saxon only accepted. So this Englishman is only accepting the Saxons because everything else around is dark. That is what Ben is saying. So who is this Englishman is what I started to look at. So let's go right here. When I did the research on the Englishman, the history comes back that the Englishman is originally the Anglo. So I typed in the bar at the top and it told me I made a mistake because I typed in Anglo Saxon. It told me I misspelled it and it was Anglo-Saxon. But when you read, it says a group of Germanic tribes the angels with the comma, Saxons, Jutes, who migrated to Britain in the 5th century. So the Anglo, the original name for the Anglo is angel. So it goes like angel, Anglo, English, English. This is the reason why I said the English stood out, because he's writing as if everyone else around is dark skinned and the lightest people around is the Saxons. And that makes me feel like someone is an outsider in this environment. But down below it says angels, 5th century AD. It says below homeland, England. So that A was turned to an E. So England. And it says, as it's called in Old English. It says the angels were coming in large numbers. The angels right there. To the right, it says Litchfield angel. It says the Litchfield angel is Anglo-Saxon art. It says the Litchfield angle is a stunning example of Anglo-Saxon religion. Well, the problem is the word Anglo, the original word is angel. So was the angel praising, the angel, or is the angel the angel? See, I've been looking at the wild man inside of this right here, the possibility that we are dealing with hybrids. So we're going to look at this a little bit deeper right here. But the Englishman, its original name was angel. It goes angel, Anglo, Anglin, England, or English. So who are the angels here on earth? When I thought about the Anglo saying that they were here in the 5th century, I kind of felt I needed to challenge that a little bit. It says right here in the yellow, and in Europe, the Spaniards, Italian, French, Russian, Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion, and also the Germans. So I guess in the 1700s, this whole area was of color. They're saying that the Saxon existed and was of Germanic descent in the 5th century. And I'm asking, well, how is it Germanic in the 5th century if Benjamin Franklin is complaining that outside of the Saxon, the Englishman makes the principal body of white people? So in the 1700s, the map is showing the whole area, of dark people. How can the angel, so we go back up, the angel exist in the 5th century if the whole area, even as of the 17th century, was all dark? That right there makes me feel like 1,000 years was added on to existence of a people, like 1,000 years or more right there. Like the angel might not have existed in the 5th century, possibly the Saxon, but not the angel. Because the angel right now, which is the Englishman, is saying that in the 1700s, there was only so many white people and all the lands were mostly dark. So if it's been dark, then how long was it like that right there? So it makes me feel like the Anglo possibly did not exist in the 5th century. But if I take this and I show this how I really understand it, I'm going to go back to Jasher. See, Jasher said something interesting. Down in the yellow, it said hybrid emerge. It says the text states, and they took from the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and talk mixture of animals, one species with another. It says down below, this passage is often interpreted to mean the creation of literal human animal hybrids and other genetic abominations. So we have been looking at the word angel, and the word angel is Anglo. Anglo is Anglian. Anglian is England. England is English. And I'm asking, what is the angel? Because in the scriptures, everyone is forced to praise the angel. And so happenly, the Englishman, its original name is angel. So when I'm looking into the hybrid of this, the image to the right comes up. Just like angel is at the bottom, a male and a female, what it shows, that is what an angel is. And this is how we learn it, except the angel has bird feathers. But in this medieval time period, this is the angel right here. The angel is a male and female hybrid that has the fowl of the air and the beast of the land. So it has snake and bird DNA in it. That is an angel right there. And then you're looking at the bottom at the angel. It is a hybrid. They do not have wings on their back. You're looking at their DNA. That is what an angel is, and possibly what the English are. If you look to the right there, you got the Norse god. He has the wings above his head. He doesn't have wings behind his back. He is showing the DNA that exists in him right there. They wear it. So he is like the example of an angel right there. And when you look at, our president, I'm not saying he's an angel, but what I'm saying is, his positioning in this picture is very interesting because it has the wings behind the head. The bloodline that has the fowl of the air in them, I believe, are angels right there. But we've been taught in this biblical manner to look at it like that, like something that descended from heaven or even fallen angels, when truthfully the angels are people who possibly come from beyond our ice wall. So looking at that right there, if I look at the bottom, something else that Benjamin Franklin said, he said, and while we are, as I may call it, scouring the planet, it says, by clearing America of woods, it says, and so making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of the inhabitants in Mars or Venus. I wonder what this man's knowledge was. Do you really think that he was looking into the sky, or does he know that there's more land beyond? So on the blue map right here, the map with all the worlds, they have the land of Mars on there and they have the land of Venus. And it's funny that in the 17th century, he's writing about inhabitants on Mars and Venus. And like I said, I imagine this man sitting at the table with a lantern. So either he knows something that we don't know, or he's in his own imagination about coming from Mars or Venus. Because it says right there, why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? So that made me feel like whatever's in Mars and Venus is definitely not of color right there. So this is a reason why I said this requires an open-mindedness. Now, even on the Agartha piece, it so happily say at the top, saucer to Venus. Are they going outwardly, like up the way that Elon wants to go to Mars? Or is this outwardly, like there's more land and you can go to Mars, you can literally fly to Mars because it's part of a greater ice wall? That is the open-minded that I felt like I had to have. So, yes, I am wondering, did something from Mars or Venus or something from beyond the ice wall come into our realm and possibly take over, possibly looked in the realm and found people that it felt like it closely resembled, and maybe made some type of clan with that right there. So I had did a video a while back called Mars Attack or Man's Attack. And I was talking about the movie Mars Attack. Basically, I was saying that I didn't believe that the aliens were necessarily aliens. Like, yes, they're Martians, but what I felt like I was looking at was big headed dwarf people, and Hollywood just simply showed them without any skin. Like, if you look on there, it just doesn't have any skin. It's not necessarily an alien, it's a skinless, big headed person, which made me start to think of, like, is this the Yakab that they're trying to show, And it could have black and white, big headed people who don't know. I don't know. Um, the same thing with the Venus piece. It says when the earth had 14 seconds. There's been so much subliminal about Mars and Venus being attacked from Mars, being attacked from Venus. And I'm just being open minded to the factor that you have beings that come from outside the ice wall and possibly even under the earth that has been warring with our sector of this greater landscape right here. But to bring this together, because we only know the name angel through spirituality. So what I want to do is show that it is a possibility that this possibly came from another place, from beyond. So the coin at the top, it says Jehovah or Ahovah, and the coin to the right in the spaceship or airship, it says Yahweh. So Yahweh and Jehovah are the same gods or the same name. And in the scriptures, the God, Jehovah or Yahweh, has angels as its assistant. So what I want to do is reveal this right here, because I believe that we have been forced to praise an invader that goes by the name angel, that is a hybrid that carries the fowl of the air, and we are praising it and its God, the Yahweh, which could possibly exist in a ship that comes from possibly beyond the ice wall. This right here, it's very revealing. If you look to the left, so let's start with the left. In the Old Testament, we know the angel like this. We know the God of the Bible like this. The God comes in the fiery cloud. That is the Jehovah. That is the Yahweh. It comes in the fiery cloud. Down below is the angel. So the angel, whether it's the archangel, angel Michael, whoever, there's always an angel coming. And we've been given that illusion of this in a biblical, divine way. But when you go to the coin in the middle, the coin in the middle is a revealance that that cloud that was presented in the Old Testament has always been a UFO or some type of ship that can cloak itself. This is the reason why they put Yahweh's name up in there, to show that you've been always dealing with something that has technology, and we've been taught to look at it as godly. At the bottom, the angel is exactly what the picture is. It is people who have the fowl of the air mixed in their blood, the fowl of the land mixed in their blood. And I believe their creators are this Yahweh that is in this UFO. So we are being forced to praise their creation, the angels. So these angels that they created are representatives. So when they say the angel came and talked to me, well, this is what they mean. To the right there, that angel came and talked to you. At the top, the coin with the man in it. That is a representation of who is in the ship. So we go from Yahweh or Jehovah in the cloud in the Old Testament. We get into the 1600s. You're starting to look and understand that you're dealing with hybrids and that the Yahweh has always been in a ship. And the gold coin shows the man in the cloud is a representation for a man in the ship that can cloak itself like a cloud. And the angel below right there is a hybrid. It is that man and woman together. But as you see, they don't got wings. This is the DNA. So in my opinion, we have been forced to praise the angels, the Anglo, the English, the English. We've been forced to praise them like divine entities. And their creators, we have been forced to praise it like a god. But this is a breakdown right here. Queen Elizabeth, she could be an angel because she is the Queen of England. And England is originally Anglian, and Anglian is originally Anglo, and Anglo is originally angel. And yet you see this snake on a stick, which is stemming back to Moses' staff when they had to praise the serpent in the desert. So I'm saying that this queen is quite possibly a hybrid, and she is a English woman. An English woman, original name is Angel. Right now, if the queen was alive, you would be worshiping the queen, Angel. She is the queen of Angel Land, not England. This right here has been literally to me put inside of the scriptures. This is why I said that in my study, it seems somewhere around about the 1500s, there was a nasty war. And I believe that it extends from beyond our ice wall. This is the reason why, if I go back up, I was showing the Agartha right there that they even show airships, UFOs going to Venus. They're showing UFOs like that. I mean, what's to say that this isn't a bigger situation and there's more land and you have something literally coming from Venus that has attacked us? And Benjamin Franklin is referencing this people from Mars and Venus as being superior beings. And all I'm saying is right now today, we are being conquered literally by the English. Like the European, those from who are English, literally conquered the whole world. And I'm saying those people, before they were called English, were called angels. And I'm saying the angels are quite possibly hybrids that come from something that is beyond. This is the reason why Benjamin Franklin was making such a thing about the Saxons and them only being the only whites here, So I'm not saying that there was no light colored people. I'm just saying there is people beyond the ice wall, and we're definitely, to me, not alone. But the next video, it's going to go into this war that I was talking about, that I believe extends from another land, and we are being attacked and conquered. And I believe to such extent that, a lot of people were unalived and we don't remember this. So then a Bible was handed to us with the name angel in it, with the name Yahweh in it, with the name Jehovah in it. And I believe that these groups has conquered and created a book for us to worship them in. So the next video, is going to be talking about this war that seemed to happen in Europe around about this 14 to 1600 time period, actually going up to the 18th century. But on this piece, it said mirabilis annus. So that's like saying miraculous year in Latin. It says progression of the UFO wave of 1660, 61 in England. So someone thought it was miraculous about the progress of the UFO wave in 1660 to 61 in England, or is it Angel Land right there? So that is another reason why I said that we like quite possibly might be dealing with something that is not from here. On the coin, it's dated 1653, and on this map is dated 1660 to 61. So we're talking about a possible invasion that has hit every continent and destroyed things on a nuclear level. And then it sends its hybrid group in, because to me it comes in on boats, almost like what Christopher Columbus was riding in. And basically, they've taken over. But I'm saying this Englishman is an angel, and quite possibly a hybrid, left here to govern. And I believe that we are forced to praise the angel, um, along with its creator, the Yahweh. I believe we're forced to praise that right there. But again, that's that secretive world, because the name has been changed to Anglo, and the name has been changed to English. And there's no history that is going to talk to you in this manner right here. But that's what I mean when I say open-minded. It's not about being racist or this is an all black world or anything like that. If you can see the plane as having more lands, then there could be other places with white people, other places with Chinese looking people, other places with green looking people. The options are so big because we're dealing with hybrids that are not exactly like us. And I think we're under quarantine. So I don't necessarily look at it as something coming in and it's hating you on your color. It's something coming in, taking all your resources, and it's trying to figure out how to survive in the environment that has been taken from you. That tool that was used was things that had a flying apparatus, things that had bombs and things on that level. So this next video is going to be very, very, very deep. I definitely appreciate you watching this far. I don't mean it to be any disrespect or anything. I'm just going through history. History is not nice because it's his story. It's been hidden, you know. I just think that we're not alone. And I think that what we praise is not by accident, is by design. And it's all wordplay on us, the whole entire world. If you are a Christian, then you praise the angel. And quite possibly the angel is also the Anglo-Saxon. So that's something to think about right there, family. To the next time, I definitely appreciate you. You can see right here what the next video is going to be on. It's a nasty war, but we're going to get into that right there, family. I appreciate you. Thank you.